Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. Today we visit the East Brunswick Senior Center, where consumer health librarians from East Brunswick Public Library are taking the Just for the Health of It initiative on the road to make seniors better informed health consumers. Then we check out a special program at the library where Jamie Novak, a decluttering specialist and author, gave a great presentation on how to be better organized in the new year. Al Nygren joins us in studio for another New Jersey Film Festival Filmmaker interview as he sits down with Joe Stephans, the producer of the feature film Wildlike. And Mayor David Stahl brings us a business spotlight from EBTV's newest bulletin board sponsor, the Alternative Integrated Medical Services, or AIMS, the longtime East Brunswick-based medical facility on Tice's Lane. So stay with us. This Week in East Brunswick starts now.
Hi, I'm Sharon Riley Morosi, Assistant Director for the East Brunswick Department on Aging, and this is the Voice of Experience. Today I'm at the Senior Center with Karen and Kathy, who are librarians at the East Brunswick Library. Karen, tell us about what's happening here today.
Hi, Sharon. Thank you for inviting us. Today we're here visiting the Senior Center to bring our roadshow of Just for the Health of It, the library's very exciting health initiative to help people become informed health consumers. Our health initiative actually started about 4 years ago. In my own personal experience, having to find information for someone in my family who was ill, and it has since grown into such a program that it has been recognized nationally by the National Library of Medicine in an article that they actually did about the East Brunswick Public Library. Our health initiative is geared around helping people become informed health consumers so that they can speak intelligently to their doctor about their condition, about their medication, about some kind of alternative therapy that they're thinking of trying, and about the risks and benefits of health information. So it's all about health literacy. And health literacy is a very important topic today because it has to do with how informed people are about their condition, and it translates directly into health outcomes, improved health outcomes, shorter hospitalization, shorter recoveries. So our health initiative has, as I said, it has been recognized nationally by the National Library of Medicine, and I'm proud to say that the East Brunswick Library is one of the few libraries nationwide, few public libraries, that is actually an affiliate member of the National Library of Medicine. What does that mean? It means that our consumer health librarians are trained by the National Library of Medicine. They take ongoing classes, ongoing webinars through the National Library of Medicine every year to maintain their certification. So they are certified in consumer health research just as a hospital librarian would be. So we are one of the few libraries nationwide that, because our health initiative has become so successful and so recognized, we are actually an affiliate member of the National Library of Medicine.
Wow, congratulations, and thank you so much for being here. Now, Kathy, what will you be doing here at the Senior Center?
Today, I decided to focus on blood pressure and exercise as a topic. Generally, what we do is we pick a topic that we think is either current or popular among people. We get a lot of the same types of questions. How do I find a doctor? What type of food do I need for this condition? How to lower blood pressure? Or my doctor has diagnosed this. What does this mean for me? What is the result of a test? All sorts of questions that we get. So today, I actually did have a doctor question, which is one of the common ones that we have. And we have our web portal, welllinks.org, which is, we have a flyer that's listed on the back. And we started our research there. And I've advised a couple people today who use computers to actually do that so that you can do your own health research. There are vetted sites. We know that the information is quality.
A vetted site means that the resource, the website, has been evaluated by the National Library of Medicine as being a top quality, highest quality, most what we call authoritative in library world or trustworthy site. This is information that is reliable and is utilized by medical professionals. So that is all that we use. Our librarians do not use any internet sites other than vetted sites by the National Library of Medicine. And we have sites, Sharon, for drugs. We have sites for children's health. We have sites for aging adults. We have videos. We have sites. We actually even have sites for teens that we're building on now to develop sites where teens can learn about issues important to them. I know one of the questions we get a lot for teens is stress and school stress. So we have something for everybody.
So someone who comes here to the senior center could actually ask questions about family health. If they had a concern about a family member, they could get information about that.
Absolutely, Sharon. And we even have a section of our portal for pets because they're also a part of the family for pet health. So something
Wow.
for everybody.
What a comprehensive service. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you being here. Is there anything else we need to let our viewers know about the program?
Well, we're going to be here at the Senior Center on the third Tuesday of every month from 11 to 1, and Kathy will be here. And every Tuesday when she comes, she'll bring, or every visit when she's here, she'll bring a display of a topic of interest to people. So feel free to come by. If you have a medical question, Kathy can answer, a health question, a diagnosis by your doctor. She'll be happy to help you. We can either answer them on the spot. For more lengthy, in-depth research, we take it back to the library, and Kathy, who's one of our certified consumer health researchers through the National Library of Medicine, will be happy to conduct the research for you.
Great. Thank you so much. If you would like more information about programs and services available through the East Brunswick Department on Aging, then please call us at 732-390-6896. And please remember, the East Brunswick Department on Aging is here to help you and yours age successfully.
My name is Jamie Novak, and I'm an organizing specialist and author. Today we're at the East Brunswick Public Library, and we're going to be getting organized for the new year, cutting the clutter and storing the stuff. So the first thing you'll do is to open your packet of hanging file folders. And you know how it has the little clear with the little labels and we're not doing that. I know it sounds great. And for those of us that kind of skew to the side of being perfectionists, this is the part where it's very exciting to get organized because we think, oh, now we get to look at the consumer reports and figure out which is the best label maker. Then we get to shop for color-coded file folders, maybe teal and raspberry. And then we get to have the great debate. We might even make a pie chart about should we go with a script font or a block font for our labels. And then finally, you've got this box, and it's beautifully labeled. There's not a paper inside. You've been so busy getting the perfect system set up and wanting to do it just right that the paper pile has continued to grow. So I guess I'm one of those that was probably born with the organizing gene, if you will. And so I just continued to practice and develop that through the years. And so I was actually an administrative assistant for a long time and used those organizing skills. And then someone said, hey, can you give a program on how to organize an office? And I did, and it grew from there, and it seems to be a very popular topic. So today, I figure, paperwork is a big issue, and it's the start to the new year, so what a wonderful time to kind of start fresh with our paperwork and our paperwork pile. So we'll start there, and then we'll talk about clearing closets and piles of clutter from other spaces. So we've got a lot of great tips and things that, you might be able to just take something from your kitchen, like the roll from the inside of a paper towels. So once you're finished with the roll of paper towels, take that cardboard tube, and you can use that in so many different ways. So we'll talk about all of that today. For most of us, we have one or two of these tucked in a drawer, like our utility drawer, and then you can't find a battery or a birthday candle because the drawer is filled with this, and then you can't open and shut the drawer without pushing stuff down, so it's a whole thing. So very simply now, when you are finished with a roll of paper towels, you're often left with that cardboard tube. So if you were to weave that cord back and forth and slide it in, you've got that option. It also works for holiday lights. So this is much easier to toss in a drawer than this would be. And then, of course, thinking about the kitchen, these are my cooking tongs that lost their little clasp to keep them shut. So they would open in the utility drawer, and I've lost hours of my life trying to get my hand in the drawer to shut them so that I could open and close the drawer. And now they just go right into a tube, and then that solves that problem. So at jamienovak.com, you can find all the great tips and actually notes from today's program. So if you weren't able to enjoy the entire program, you can find the notes at jamienovak.com. And coming this March is my newest book. I have a few bestsellers, but the newest one is Keep This, Toss That, and that'll hopefully be on the library shelf and in bookstores near you this coming March. But don't be afraid, you know, if you're tired of the decor, you're bringing down, you know, decorations from the holidays, the seasons gone by, and it's just, you know, not you anymore. I had a gorgeous like cornucopia with all these different squash, and then I was like, why? Like they're falling off the table, and then the dog's running away with them, and it was a whole thing. So for a moment it was fun, and then it's like not so much anymore, but yeah, I spent good money on it. I don't necessarily want to sell it, you know, but I just don't want to throw it away either. But think of schools or libraries that would love to decorate but don't always have a budget to go out and buy decorations. They would love to be gifted things. You know, I think a lot of times we feel like getting organized takes a lot of time, and actually I like to work in 5-minute increments, which I know sounds crazy if you've got a whole house that needs addressing, but it really is one of the easiest ways. Set a timer and just do a little bit. The top of a table, a corner, and you're just making decisions as you go. And it really is the action. So you want to pick something up and decide, keep it or toss it, and before you know it, in those little spurts, it's going to get organized. Now here's my invitation to you, because all these ideas, they work when you actually take action. So here's your part. You have to decide where you're going to begin and when you're going to start. Because it all sounds good, and we talked about so many different areas that itself can become overwhelming. So choose your space. Is it the entryway? Is it your shoes? Is it your clothes? Is it your medicine cabinet? Is it the food storage containers? Is it your bag collection? Wherever you'd like to begin, maybe it's the junk drawer, it doesn't really matter. You just need to choose a space, and now you need to say when. Because it can't be later, because later will never happen. So it has to be when. So if you're an evening person, maybe it's today, maybe it's first thing tomorrow, set a timer for 5 minutes and just do a little something. Don't pull everything out, because then you're going to wonder what you were thinking and you make a bigger mess. But just get started. Move a few things around, toss a few things out, maybe donate something, and you've made progress. And you've built on that success. And now you do another 5 minutes and another 5 minutes, and before you know it, 60 years worth of stuff you're going through in small increments, and you're making positive changes. And that's how it starts. So I can't wait to hear about your first success story. I hope you'll take me up on that 5-minute challenge. And I want to thank you so much for coming out today. A big thank you to the Friends of the East Brunswick Public Library and to the East Brunswick Library itself. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You guys were great. Thank you for coming out.
Hi everybody, it's Al Nygren from the New Jersey Film Festival here with our second filmmaker interview. And before I introduce our special guest, just a reminder, the New Jersey Film Festival will begin on January 31st and will run on select Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings through March 1st at our state-of-the-art facility, Voorhees Hall, room 105 on the Rutgers University campus in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Program begins promptly at 7 p.m. And on Sunday, February 8th, we have an amazing double bill. We have Calvin Steinken's Doug's Christmas, very heartwarming film set in 1951. And then the feature film by Frank Hall Green is called Wildlike. Features two name actors, Ella Purnell, who was in Never Let Me Go, and Bruce Greenwood, who you'll recognize as Captain Pike, Admiral Pike, from Star Trek Into the Darkness. And is really an amazing film that's set in Alaska with two folks that are dealing with many issues and that come together. Today, our special guest is producer Joe Stephans, excuse me.
Okay.
And he's going to be telling us a little bit about Wildlike. How did you get involved?
Frank and I have been friends for a long, long time, and you know, both in the business, and had been looking for something to work on together, and this came up, and he, you know, I'd been reading different versions of the script and whatnot, and he had two other producers attached to it for I think about a year before I became attached. A company called Tandem Pictures, which is Julie Christeas and Skylar Weiss, and it was getting closer. They were kind of like, okay, this is really going to happen. We got everything we need to go make this happen. And I said, listen, if you want to add another person, I got good physical production, set operations background, and I could come on as a producer in that capacity. And he said that would be great. And I jumped at the chance to, go to Alaska and make a movie.
Well, I think that's, an amazing project, because this is obviously also a labor of love. I found the leads to be quite compelling. Ella Purnell, who's actually English.
Yeah, British.
And British, and you don't smell a whiff of her accent at all.
No.
A really, really very commanding performance, and the evolution of her performance is really quite special as well. And Bruce Greenwood also, I think the chemistry there is really perfect. I thought they came off really, really well. So tell us about the story, because I think you're better equipped to do that than I am.
So it's really it's a story about hope, and it starts with this girl ending up in Juneau, Alaska, young girl, and she's been sent to live with her uncle, who she knows. And we find out that he's not exactly an ideal caretaker.
He's a sleazebag. He's worse than that.
Played by Brian Garrity.
Yeah, he's really good too.
And he's quite good, and a very challenging role for any actor to have to do. And she quickly becomes, she doesn't know what to do except leave, And so she takes it upon herself to just extricate herself from the situation, but she's in Juneau, Alaska, and how do you get out of Juneau, Alaska?
Right. With no money.
With no money, very little money, and she stumbles upon, in just surviving on her own, this cranky old backpacker, played by Bruce Greenwood, who wants really nothing to do with her,
right.
and really, came to Alaska to be by himself, and they sort of go on an odyssey
because
together.
They both lost something. That's, I guess, one of the connections.
Yeah, definitely. He's up there mourning the loss of his wife, which we learn as we go through the story. But she's able to, for good reason, she's trouble trusting, adults in general, I think, because they've let her down, and men especially. And then she's also learned, through no fault of her own, some lessons about, what it means to be a young woman, and in relationship to men and things like that. And so, she's equipped with what she's equipped with. And then Bruce comes along, who, really wants nothing to do with her, wants nothing from her, doesn't even want to really help her, she just seems like a liability.
But she makes sure he does.
Yeah.
Without telling too much what takes place.
So she, and I think, I love both of their characters so much, I really do. She just shows so much guile and courage and perseverance. And I get the sense in watching her that she just knows something's not right, like I'm missing out on something. And then Bruce comes along, like I'm not being, the world isn't presenting me with all it has to offer, which is the world offers hope as well. There's good and bad, and Bruce kind of comes along and is a form of that, a form of goodness.
A good father figure too.
That she can
latch onto.
Yeah, and that she's not, because he's so she doesn't, that's new for her.
Yeah. Anyway, we're just about out of time. Unfortunately, these things always go by so fast.
Right.
But folks, you've got to see this great independent feature film on Sunday, February 8th, starting at 7 p.m. in Voorhees 105. $10 general admission. Gets you free food also from Jimmy John's. Plus, we'll have the director on hand, as well as some of the cast and crew will be there to do a Q&A. So please join us for this amazing program, Sunday, February 8th. You need more information, you can go to our website, which is njfilmfest.com. Just click on where it says New Jersey Film Festival spring 2015 schedule, and you'll get all the information you need there. Thanks so much for coming, Joe.
My pleasure.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, too.
Hi, it's Mayor Stahl. Welcome to another edition of Business Spotlight. I'm here at a longtime East Brunswick establishment, the Alternative Integrative Medical Services, here on Tice's Lane, 150 Tice's Lane. I'm joined by Dr. Pacone and Dr. Reisert. Gentlemen, thanks for having me here, and all the residents here of East Brunswick. Doctor, first, why don't you just mention what is AIMS?
Alternative Integrated Medical Services was started so that we could fill the gaps between traditional medicine and alternative care, speaking like chiropractic, physical therapy, nutrition, and branches like acupuncture as well.
So a very multiple discipline type approach.
Exactly, multiple disciplinary approach. We have 5 medical doctors here, 5 chiropractors, 2 physical therapists, an acupuncturist, and a nutritionist. And we do the type of treatment where patients come in and they have been failed by traditional allopathic medicine and they're looking for a different approach.
Why don't you describe a little bit more in detail what that approach would be like on a typical type patient?
Well, our name kind of spells it out. We're an alternative approach that integrates regular type of medical practices with the integration of a chiropractic, a nutritionist, and exercise. Acupuncture is also used to relieve pain and bring about symptoms. The majority of our patients are in a chronic situation where they have been to many doctors, many different facilities, and they're looking for a different approach, and we fill that gap as a team. A regular patient comes in, they may or may not have the testing or results of labs. If they don't, we prescribe them. Then the team gets together and actually looks at these tests and see what is needed for them. Not all patients that come to us are accepted. They need to have an approach where they're actually part of the solution, whereas they've got to change something in their life. Their lifestyle has to improve, especially from a diet and nutrition standpoint and an exercise standpoint. Some of our patients have actually been to an alternative approach. They've been to a nutritionist or a physical therapist or a chiropractor, and yet it hasn't seemed to work for them. By putting the team together and doing these simultaneously, the body's expression of health then can come out and they actually improve because they're all done naturally together.
So the one doctor serve as kind of like the team leader?
Well, Dr. Reisert or myself will do an internal consultation with the patient. When they first come in, we will determine and triage the patient, more or less, decide which doctors in the group the patient should see. Usually patients, we have a lot of chronic fatigue patients and fibromyalgia patients, a lot of chronic arthritis patients. Usually those patients do need the full medical approach and the chiropractic and the physical therapy approach. So they would get examined by all of the practitioners in the clinic in those particular disciplines, and then a treatment program would be outlined jointly through all the practitioners, and the patient would see multiple providers within the clinic. Many times we have to change, as Dr. Reiser said, their diets. Some people are eating foods that really create inflammation in their bodies, whether it be in the bowel or in the joints, and they need to be aware of this. We're also a full laboratory clinic here, so we draw the blood and we send it out to LabCorp request, whatever, and we do stool cultures and things like that so the patients can really determine which foods are a problem or an enemy to their system.
So obviously it sounds like not only you great doctors and chiropractors and the whole team, you make it very easy for the patient to get the proper care here in all one spot.
That's exactly right, because a patient, like for instance behind me is a treadmill, and if a patient were traditionally in a typical physical therapy facility without medical doctors there, and the patient had chest pain while they were exercising, they would be off to the emergency room. Here they're only 30 feet away from an EKG and a medical doctor that could say, it's just muscular pain, keep exercising, or we need to do something about this. So yes, we do make it easy having everything under one roof.
Now, I know you talked earlier, doctor, about people with chronic diseases, but do you also treat our young children?
Well, one of our medical specialists, Dr. Spiesler, is a pediatrician by training. So we accept just about any age patient. Again, it's totally based on whether or not they fulfill their needs. We're not in an acute establishment. We're not taking place of an ER or something like that. Certainly the patients that we have, want to have their children as well as their spouses to see whether or not an alternative approach from a holistic and wellness standpoint. So many of our patients, even though they're not sick, want a lifestyle that would improve them not only now but in the future.
That's great. Now, we were talking earlier before we actually started the taping. You've been in East Brunswick for how many years now?
I started the practice in East Brunswick in 1973, April 1st, 1973. So 38 years.
So obviously very successful. You guys know what you're doing here.
Yes. We do have an intravenous program, I should mention, that we have for patients here that have chronic heart disease, Lyme's disease patients, multiple sclerosis, cancer patients. We have a very, very excellent program that is extremely well developed for intravenous therapies. For oxidative therapies, we do hydrogen peroxide drips and things like this. So we're one of the few facilities in the state of New Jersey that actually provides this service, and it's extremely effective for patients that have already had open heart surgery, bypass grafts, and things like that. This actually works to clear out all the arteries in the body, not just the ones that go to the heart. Extremely successful and no risk.
That's great. Some of the basics, obviously you're located here at 150 Tice's Lane. Why don't you just give us your phone number, your hours, best way for people to get in touch with you, and also what type of insurance you take.
Well, we're the number is 732-254-5553, and that we do have a website which is AIMSclinic.com, and it's very interactive, and there's a lot of what we're talking about on the website that can be actually found out. We're open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 6 mornings and 4 nights. And we're here practically every day except Sunday.
Well, that's great. I appreciate not only informing me, but the residents of East Brunswick about the wonderful work you do down here at Ames. Again, as we always like to say, we like to say shop local here in East Brunswick. In this case, if you're looking for whether it's a new doctor or a new treatment, your old doctor and your old care, maybe you just want to change your lifestyle, certainly come down to the folks here at Ames at 150 Tice's Lane and let them take care of you in the best way possible. Thanks again very much.
Thank you.